Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to show you my favorite vocal chain that uses a lot of Slate Digital plugins. Let's jump into it.
I must admit that I just wanna be like you. Shame the devil, tell the truth.
Today we're going to be looking at the vocal chain on Sentimental's Be Like You. This is one of my favorite vocal mixes that I've ever done, so I'm really excited to show it to y'all today. So here we have our lead vocal with no effects or anything on it.
I just wanna be like you. Shame the devil, tell the truth. I just wanna be like you.
The first thing that we're going to put on the vocal chain is EQ. Here I have the Infinity EQ by Slate Digital. I really like this EQ because you can manipulate it so easily. There's a lot of really cool presets on here, and you can move the bands around with ease, boosts and cuts, very, very simple. So first thing we're going to do is a severe high pass here. That's just going to get rid of all the mud and unwanted sounds that the microphone is picking up that we don't need in this mix. So we're going to do that about to 80 or so. The next thing is I'm going to just go ahead and do a cut between this 200, 500 area here. That's just going to get some of the boxiness out of her vocal. Next, I'm going to do a little tiny swoop here around 4K. What that does is it gets rid of any nasal sounds or any kind of uncomfortable throaty sounds that might be coming through the microphone. Next, I'm going to do just a nice high boost to get some of that shimmer and sparkle into the mix. I don't want to go too hard on this because we don't want it to be super airy, but we just want it to shine just a little bit. This is how it sounds with the EQ.
I just wanna be like you. Shame the devil, tell the truth. I just wanna be like you.
Just very subtle, cleaning up the vocals. The next plugin in the chain is going to not be a Slate Digital plugin. It is the Arcomp by Waves. However, last week I told you I put this on every single mix. So I wasn't going to go in and say that I mixed something in a way that I didn't. So we're just using this first compressor to bring down those really high peaks. We're going to see that yellow line pop over, and we're going to bring it down about 2.5 here.
I just wanna be like you. Shame the devil, tell the truth.
You can see as she says devil, it pops over this line.
I just wanna be like you. Shame the devil, tell the truth. I just wanna be like you.
So just gentle compression just to get those peaks. Next up on the vocal chain is something that I absolutely cannot live without. This goes on every single mix that I do. It's the Virtual Mix Rack by Slate Digital. They give you a lot of different options of plugins on the left here, and you can kind of pick out what you want. This is actually a preset that I've made for Cinnamon's vocals because I mix for her so much. But the first thing on here is going to be our virtual preamp. This adds saturation to the vocal. So what I'll do is I'll mute all of these so you can hear them one at a time. So this is going to add saturation and lift to the vocal. Here's what that sounds like.
I just wanna be like you. Shame the devil, tell the truth. I just wanna be like you.
So you can hear a little bit of that saturation. The next is going to be this gentle EQ. We're just going to be manipulating those highs a little bit and bringing down the lows just to kind of warm out the vocal. Here's how that sounds.
I just wanna be like you. Shame the devil, tell the truth. I just wanna be like you.
Just add a little bit more shimmer. Then we're going to be adding this FG2A compressor as our second compressor in the chain. And this one is going to hit just a little bit harder. And you're going to see this meter kind of containing the peak reduction, and we're also using it for makeup gain.
I just wanna be like you. Shame the devil, tell the truth. I just wanna be like you.
So you notice the vocal get a little bit louder. Then we're going to add, you guessed it, another compressor, the FG11.6. And this is just going to really bring that vocal presence way up.
I just wanna be like you. Shame the devil, tell the truth. I just wanna be like you.
It's barely doing any compressing. It's really hitting that makeup gain. Next, we're going to have a de-esser, the FGDS. Now, I do like this de-esser for really SE people who sing in a very high sparkly register because it hits just the S's a little bit harder than the other de-esser I showed you last week.
I just wanna be like you. Shame the devil, tell the truth. I just wanna be like you.
And that's how the rack sounds. And the very last thing on the end, you guessed it, more compression, is the RVox. I told you about this last week as well. This is not Slate. This is Waves. However, it does go on every single mix that I personally do because we're being honest here. And this is where I'm going to get that volume.
I just wanna be like you. Shame the devil, tell the truth. I just wanna be like you.
And this is how that sounds with the music.
I just wanna be like you. Baby, I'm not gonna hold you. I just wanna be like you. I just wanna be like you.
You're noticing right now that the vocal is sitting very on top of the mix. It sounds kind of karaoke. It sounds like we have a singer and we have music. So we're going to fix that right now. What we're going to do is we're going to duplicate the track in Reaper. It's just right click, duplicate track. And what that does is it adds every single plugin that we had before onto this next track. We're going to remove the RVox because we don't need that much volume. And we are going to add this plugin by Slate Digital called Metatune. Now, Metatune is not going to be used here for tuning any vocals. I just love this doubler. 9 times out of 10, I don't even use this thing to tune vocals. I use it to push vocals into the stereo field. So what I've done is I've taken this down to 0, 0, and then this right here will manipulate where it sits in the stereo field. We're going to actually move to this section because there's more music. I'm going to bring it up in the mix, and I'm just going to solo it. So you can hear how it's pushing the vocal into the stereo field.
Baby, I'm not gonna hold you. I just wanna be like you. I just wanna be like you.
And I like it probably around here.
Baby, I'm not gonna hold you. I just wanna be like you. I just wanna be like you.
And what this is going to do is it's going to help blend the vocal into the music. So this is with the lead vocal.
Baby, I'm not gonna hold you. I just wanna be like you. I just wanna be like you.
What we're going to do is we're going to drop it down on the meter to blend it in with the music.
Baby, I'm not gonna hold you. I just wanna be like you. I just wanna be like you.
Sounding great. It's still sitting a little on top of the mix and it has no reverb on it, so it's really dry. So we're going to take our first lead, not the one with the doubler on it, but our first lead, which is track 22 here, and we're going to send it over to a delay bus. We are going to put this repeater by Slate Digital on this delay bus. We're going to have it at 1/32. We're going to have low feedback. We're going to turn the ping pong on, and we're going to bring the volume up to 0 here. And then I'll go ahead and just play what that sounds like by itself.
Baby, I'm not gonna hold you. I just wanna be like you. I just wanna be like you.
So as you can see, it's kind of bouncing the vocal around the stereo field. Here's how it sounds with the other vocals here.
Baby, I'm not gonna hold you. I just wanna be like you. I just wanna be like you.
And we're going to bring that down in the mix.
Baby, I'm not gonna hold you. I just wanna be like you. I just wanna be like you.
Nice and subtle. We're going to close that. Then we're going to take the lead vocal and we're going to drag and drop that into a reverb bus. And we're going to put my favorite reverb ever, the Verb Suite Classics, right there on the reverb bus. I like to, for vocals, do a little bit of pre-delay, turn the chorus up a little bit and get a little bit of width going on. I'll take the highs and lows down. And then I have the dry wet at 100% and the gain at 0. I have a lot of decay going on because I really enjoy reverb tails on vocals, especially with the minimal amount of music that we have going on here. I'll go ahead and play that for you.
Baby, I'm not gonna hold you. I just wanna be like you. I just wanna be like you.
And now it's sounding really pretty and it's going to balance into our mix. So let's see how that sounds in the mix.
Baby, I'm not gonna hold you. I just wanna be like you. I just wanna be like you. I just wanna be like you. Shame the devil, tell the truth. I just wanna be like you.
This song has a ton of background vocals, like tons and tons and tons. So I did a similar thing with each of the background vocals. I just put on some de-essing. I put on a little bit of compression. I did an EQ where I high passed and everything like that. I created a background vocal bus and I put some reverb on there, the Verb Suite Classics. And then I went ahead and just panned them all over the place. As you can see on the screen here, they're just all panned around. And here's how that all sounds in the mix.
Baby, I'm not gonna hold you. I just wanna be like you. I just wanna be like you. I just wanna be like you. Shame the devil, tell the truth. I just wanna be like you.
So you can treat the background vocals very similar to the lead vocals. So we use Infinity EQ. We get some virtual preamps, extra compressors with the virtual mix rack. We get a stereo widening tool with the Metatune. We get a clean, beautiful delay with the repeater. and we get a beautiful reverb with the Verb Suite Classics. I hope this helped you out. If you have any questions about any of these plugins, feel free to leave it in the comments. You can also see a link to how to get all of these. They are all available in the All Access Pass. Don't forget to like, comment, and especially subscribe to the channel because we're going to do a lot of mixing together, I promise. And if you're curious about any audio topic, please let me know. You can send it in the comments. You can visit my website. You can DM me on Instagram. You can send me an email. And I'll be happy to answer your questions or even make you your own personal video for YouTube. Thank you so much. I'll see you next week.